right, bitches. All right. Welcome to an MG Sunday Rogue broadcast. Because we can, and we felt like it. How you doing, TJ?
Wyatt, I am rolling.
Rolling, see? We were just talking about the Montauk Project and time travel and the Philadelphia experiment and a few other things. I think I'm getting some feedback coming over your PC. I can hear myself. So put on some fucking earphones.
Speaking of earphones.
Jesus Christ.
No. I got a good story to tell.
Okay.
After I'm done putting the headphones in. It's probably the rain. It's raining outside. And I have all the windows open because it's not just raining, it's also humidity is 70%. 70%, not 7%. All right. Let's see. How's that?
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah. So these headphones are actually broken.
They're broken?
So 1 second. Just trying to control the noise. One of the earpieces, the wire inside the earbud broke. Like it snapped off from the rest of it. So I took a soldering gun with some soldering solution stuff, whatever it's called, and I successfully, with my own hands, I successfully soldered the wire back into place so I could hear on both sides.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I'm not a handyman. I'm not a home improvement guy, so for me it was kind of a big deal. I know for some of the guys like, "Dude, it's so easy." It's like,
not really. I mean, most normal. I mean, you could look at a YouTube, but I learned how to solder when I was at work. They'd send me to classes for audio video stuff that I was doing. So that's once you learn, it's relatively easy, but it's not something that everyone like just knows.
It was also hard because I was using very little of that soldering stuff, and then I was using an industrial size soldering gun, which is huge, as opposed to the one I use for doing wood burning projects.
Mm-hmm.
So it was not very precise. So I'm like trying to like get this tiny wire attached to this tiny spot of the earbud with this massive industrial size soldering gun that I had. I couldn't find the other one. So I'm like trying to do it, and I finally do. If I had used the wood burning soldering gun, that would have been easy because it has a very fine tip.
Yeah.
So it would have just been really easy to do that kind of stuff. So but I was proud. Like I was able to fix something. Because a lot of my stuff, it's like it breaks, and it's just cheaper for me and more industrial, more practical for me just to replace it. So it's nice to be able to actually fix something.
Cool. That's a nice feeling.
Yeah. I feel like, one thing I would say, for as far as like for young men, the best thing they can learn is how to fix their own stuff.
Like
they feel useful. Something breaks.
Well, there's a sense of accomplishment. Yeah.
Yeah, like this last winter, because it got so cold, I had to run all my water constantly just to keep the pipes from freezing.
Mm-hmm.
I had to replace every single shutoff valve and every single water hose for my bathroom and my kitchen sink, and it was just I had to learn through trial and error how to replace it all, use enough Teflon tape or whatever it was I used to just seal it properly. But like,
Mm.
now I know how to do that stuff. So it's stuff that it's not difficult stuff to learn. It's just you never learn it, and if you don't understand it, it's kind of like it has this kind of mystical, unknowable quality to it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the tip. What's up, Boris? What's up, Marty? So, well, since you guys are in here early, we can discuss. So, TJ will be out here in New Jersey in November. Our plan is to reconnoiter an abandoned, defunct military lab and base in New York, and perhaps live stream it. So when we get arrested, we'll have like a video recording of it.
I'm self-employed, so I can't get fired.
Yeah, I'm in. Well, hopefully my own federal status will help with that, but we'll see. It's going to be an adventure nonetheless. So
Exactly.
there's going to be some equipment we need to bring with us. And you may be saying, "Well, why are you mentioning it live?" Well, it's good to have a record of this in case something happens to our bodies. So.
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
Right? You got to live life up to the hilt.
Up to the tip.
Up to the tip counts. Fucking A, the tip counts. Oh shit. So how's the Pacific Northwest?
Well, it's raining, which is nice. I just installed a French drain at the corner of my property, so it's making its uses. It's nice because we needed the rain. It was, the summer's been great. I'm not complaining. White Boy Summer 2.0 has been good. But
did that kind of pass unnoticed? Because I don't recall.
I officially declared White Boy Summer 2.0.
That's too far, fuck.
Yeah, and I set up the rules, which if you'd listen to, but
I honestly didn't listen to them. That like went over my head with that shit. I have to go back and look at it. Is it on your website?
Yes. I even put a PDF of the rules.
Oh shit! Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
White Boy Autumn. doesn't have quite the same ring as White Boys. Well, it'd be White Boy Adventuring.
White Boy Autumn for me would be more. It would not be as, how can I put it? For me, it's making homemade meals.
That's right, Boris.
Do you know who I am?
You know who I am?
Juggernaut, bitch.
Hopefully my badge will assist in getting us out of any tight spots.
Yeah.
Bring the wear the camo.
Yeah, I've been making some home meals since it's been cold. I've been like, okay, I'm gonna make some homemade chili for the first time, and then
oh, cool.
Yeah, it was good. It came out well. I followed the recipe, but I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. But this is kind of when it gets cold and all that kind of stuff. That's when I start to make like. I haven't made waffles in God knows how long. I need to make up for that. My family used to do a big. There'd be Saturdays where we're like, you know what? We're gonna sleep in. Then it's gonna be coffee, bacon, eggs, waffles, oatmeal, the whole shebang. That was kind of our family tradition during the autumn period where you kind of just relax, and then you go rake some leaves and do some binder work and enjoy the cold air, that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely. That's the best thing about autumn is the cool, crisp evenings.
I was back in Leavenworth, as you probably know. I was getting a bunch of teas at the tea shop. I know I can order them and have them shipped here, but like,
oh God. Thanks, Boris, you fucking dick. I'm not sure if that was a compliment or not.
I'm not sure what he meant by that, but
I'm not sure what you meant by that.
We'll take it as a compliment. Anyways,
take it as a compliment. So you're back in Leavenworth?
Yeah, I got a bunch of teas. And the thing that they have is they have a sample thing where you get to smell all the different teas, so you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of new ones, and then there was stuff that one of them, it has so much cinnamon oil that it corrodes the regular packaging, so they package it separately, and they're like, you got to put it in a freezer or a fridge, keep it cool and all that kind of stuff. So, which I love. Like I love the tea. It's like you wake up in the morning, you drink that stuff. It's like you're awake. And then there's stuff that I drink in the evenings called Evening in Missoula, which is this very relaxing tea. It's amazing. It's some of the you guys can look it up if you want to, because you could probably have it shipped to you if you want. But it's it's stuff that you don't have to add like sugar or honey or whatever, unless you want to. But like it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's expensive for teas. Cost me a little bit, but like you know what, I like good. I'm past the point of like having cheap tea. I want good.
Cheap thing. No, I get it. And honey is really a good sweetener to add. It's natural. It doesn't have
The
quite the same
yeah,
effect as white processed sugar.
the one
If you're
cheap
going to
tea.
go with if you're going to go with sugar in your tea or coffee, I would go with the brown or the raw sugar
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
honey. Now, honey, I put honey in coffee by mistake 4 or 5 years ago, and at first I thought, this is weird. And then I tried it a few more times. Like, it kind of grew on me. Not bad.
Well, I so Bulrush made a comment. Bulrush, there ain't no woman on this planet. I don't care if she's a redhead or not. She ain't gonna make waffles better than I do. That's just a fact. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but they're not gonna make waffles better than I do. That's just how it is. I make the best waffles. I'm renowned in my social circles for my bacon cooking and waffles. I do a
There
very
you
good job with both.
go. All
But
right.
as far as like the tea is concerned, oh, there's one. It's I think it's Bigelow's. Is their chai vanilla tea is actually.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah,
Oh,
that's easy. Yeah,
I was drinking.
it
Yeah,
has like like an inherent natural sweetness to it.
yes,
It
I
just
love it.
fools your brain into think you're drinking something with sugar in it.
Yeah, just add a little bit of cream to it, like a dollop of cream, and
Oh,
yeah, it's a great evening or not evening. It's a great autumn tea.
good around the fire.
Which I was telling a buddy of mine like when I buy
Yeah, it's waffling and being brief. You had some bee
what
boxes when you were growing up. That's kind of cool. Did you
okay
get
what
stung? Did you get stung a lot, Bullrush? He had bee boxes when he was growing up.
oh
Bullrush
gotcha
apparently. It's like little known facts of Bullrush that we don't really care about, but he foists them off on us, so we forced to care.
um yeah the one thing one thing I regret or I miss I was thinking about my old home in Leavenworth because I was back there and I was like
Uh
because I did a hike and I was like I kind of miss going back to my old house kicking
huh.
off my boots and
In
putting
front of
on
the
a
fire,
fire.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Your
know.
feet upon a settle after a hard day's work. Only you've never done a hard day's work.
One thing I'll do. This is non-negotiable for my next house because I'm gonna sell this house at some point.
Hmm.
Non-negotiable. It has to have a fireplace or a insert wood stove, but it has to have like a wood burning stove or fireplace. It's got to have one of those. I will not do this. I'm not going to do natural. Mine is a natural gas insert fireplace, and it's just like it's you lose something out of it. Like you don't have to tend to the fire. You don't have to chop the wood. You don't have to cut the wood. Like all the whole ritual process during the autumn period, which I did back in the old days in my house, the old days, where I would chop all this cherry wood or this apple tree wood, and you stack it and you cure it.
Yeah.
Man, it's
No.
like you don't know what like uh I got wood a couple years ago when I was at my old house from a woman who that the wood had been curing for 30 years. It had
Holy
been
shit.
yeah. Her husband stacked
Fuck.
it, didn't touch it for 30 years. And burning that wood
Fucking
was like
kindling. It
yes,
probably
it was
smelled good too.
oh dude, it was like there was an aroma. So when people were visiting my house, they're like, "Where did you get that smell?" I'm like, from the wood I burned. It was such a relaxing feeling. You got the fire burning, you got the movie going on, you're relaxed, you got a tea, or you got your warm drink, whiskey, rum, hot butter rum, whatever. Like, dude, that is life. That is life.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's cool. a little bit of rum on the side.
Yeah.
What's up, Doc? We actually get to say that. What's up, Doc? Like fucking Bugs Bunny and shit.
Yeah. What's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc? Well, rabbit season. Duck season.
Should have taken that left-horned albacore.
That's right. Good cartoons. I miss those. To go back and watch them every now and then.
You know what saddens me is like a lot of kids now, like at least within I'm not even gonna say my generation, but like with me, we watch that stuff. We watch Scooby-Doo, the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Looney Tunes. A lot of kids have never even heard of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, how does that happen? But because the parents don't expose them, they don't educate them properly. Like, my kids will be educated properly. They'll be watching the Batman animated series at like age 6, when they're traumatized thoroughly.
Right.
They're gonna watch the rest of the stuff, but like, yeah.
So getting back to this defunct, supposedly abandoned military base, the main portion of it, hiding in plain sight, the main portion of it is turned into a state park. And I had one of my girls, who's a commercial real estate agent, do some delving into deeds and whatnot. There's dick all in this place, obviously, hiding just like no paper trail. But an interesting thing we did find out is, even though it's state run, the main base area with the radar tower, which is half the size of a football field, and which is the epicenter of all the time warping, time travel experiments, the Montauk project, that, and so everything above ground is state owned above ground. So everything underground is still federally owned. So that leads me to believe that operations never really ceased. We're going to find out. You heard it here first. So there. Yeah, delve into the Montauk Project, Project Moonbeam, Rainbow, and Phoenix. I know it sounds like an SJW gathering, but those are the names. Those are the names that were given to it. The base went officially, as far as the military was concerned, defunct in 1969. But one of the labs nearby, and I'm forgetting the name at the moment, but it went to Congress saying, "Hey, we have these ideas for mind control / time warping experiments to do. What do you think?" And Congress said, "What are you, fucking out of your mind? We're not going to give you money for that." So behind Congress's back, they went to the military and had GSA purchase all the equipment they needed, and the base went back into operation in the mid 70s up until about 85. Not too many people know that. So, yeah. And the shit that came out of that was insane. I'm looking into local newspaper articles about it. And actual time travel, the Montauk Project dovetails directly with the Philadelphia experiment with the USS Eldridge back in 1943. My grandfather at that time worked for the Naval Yard and corroborated some of that stuff, according to my father. So what happened was they were working. There was a team with Tesla, who was still alive at the time, and Einstein on time travel and invisibility. They were working on trying to perfect invisibility to mitigate and get an upper hand in the outcome of the Second World War. So they experimented on the USS Eldridge in 1943 and succeeded in sending the Eldridge forward into time to Virginia in 1983. Now, apparently, according to time travel in the Earth has biorhythms that operate in 20 years. So you got 43, 63, 83, 2003, 2023. 2023 is coming up. There's going to be some interesting shit. MK Ultra was also MK Ultra was involved in that, but a lot of that had to do with things going on down in Florida and NASA. Everything was under one umbrella. A lot of private benefactors and money, which is locals dubbed it the Montauk Project. It wasn't the official name. So a lot of that money came out from private investors. I have some suspicions on that, which I'm not going to mention here. But yeah, so that money was being funneled into that time travel and mind control programs in the New York area. If you go back, I'm going to delve into the local newspapers from that time, from 63 to 83, and I'll report back on that. But it's fucking phenomenally fascinating. Now, a lot of people are going like, oh, that's conspiracy theory and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Fuck off. I don't care about you. You matter little to me, and your life is probably boring and you're sexless. It's true. Let's face it. It's true.
No, that's literally. It's true. It's like I'm always watching these guys online, and I'm like, you need to find yourself a girl, mate.
Absolutely.
They're guys who are like, or people who are just, they're constantly knob nibbling other people. I'm like, I don't have. I'm sorry. I got too. Yeah, exactly. It's like I got too much. I got too many other things in my own life going on to like constantly nitpick and ankle bite other people.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Amos, I'm curious if time travel answered what modal of time travel is true. Well, it's definitely true. Apparently, I'm probably butchering this, but apparently, I'm going to give you. So, everyone has we all exist in a certain reality. It's the one we're here right now. Obviously, it's a virtual reality because we're talking, through the internet. But everyone's born with what's called a time lock, which anchors you to the time and the reality of now. Apparently, with the Philadelphia experiment, that upset the time lock, which made a lot of the soldiers insane. And with the time shifts, also embedded a lot of their bodies in the bulkheads. So they just instantly died. There's certain things that have to be set and exist before this can happen. Now, a little while ago on the internet, there was a lot of, not a lot, but a few photographs that were bandied about with, they look like black and white from different time periods around 43 and 63 and things of that nature, maybe even around other locations around that time period, with people that looked out of time. It looked like maybe they were on a cell phone or they had certain clothing. And I thought, hey, you know what? That's got to be photoshopped. Well, it comes to find out we're not photoshopped. So if you follow along with the Montauk Project and everything coming out of MK Ultra and all the other time warping and time shifting projects by the government and the quasi government entities, you say to yourself, well, could this be true? Is it possible? Now, a lot of pragmatic, down-to-earth, binary thinking retards will say, "Well, that's all science fiction and blah 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 blah. We exist in the really real world now." Well, how's that working out for you? Okay, there's a lot of shit. I mean, even myself, I've been privy to a lot of shit that could be chalked up to paranormal, and I can't explain it. I to this day, things have happened in my presence I cannot explain. I just cannot explain. Can science come in and go, well, with this and maybe,
Well,
maybe.
they can go in and say Aaron Claire is gay.
Pretty much, $20 is $20. I mean, after all. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that to be honest with you, Amos, there's a lot of stuff that exists in both literary features and Hollywood media features that I think are deliberate. So if it's presented to you in a fictional format, you're going to say to yourself, okay, well that's fake. That's just like fictional imaginary stuff to entertain us. You're not going to believe that it's real or a portion of it is real. I liken it back to the fact that, let's go back to like a criminal. A lot of criminals get caught because what? What do? They brag. They brag about their endeavor and they get caught. Well, a lot of things that go on that's illustrated to a certain point in Hollywood and literature is bragging. It's like, ha ha ha, you peasants. This is actually true or partially true, but you'll never believe it because you think this is fiction. Plausible deniability. We're just going to get away with it. So the more I've been delving into this stuff, in fact, this is a very good book by Preston Nichols. I've got a few more books on the way. We're going to be interviewing a few people regarding this, one of them being Brian M. Bowden. We've had him on here before. I just tweeted about this. I have watched Stargate. Exactly. I mean, that's probably the best way to lie about something and get away with it. I mean, the media is doing it now. it's like you're seeing it in real time. So why people just like poo this or say,
I
oh,
was
it's all
literally just talking about, because I just finished watching Firefly. We were talking about Stargate SG-1, and I've not watched it in probably 15 years. Stargate, but
yeah.
Amos was talking about it. You know, I think you guys, that's a legitimate point. Is they introduce stuff in media as a way of like just, I don't know, like, is it just like them just trying to get off their chest without, or maybe
it is.
Yeah.
It's almost like a it's called a mocking ritual. It's like, you peasants, we lured it over you. We have all this. We know everything. You don't. Ha ha ha. You'll never believe it, and you'll fight amongst yourselves to prove that it's wrong or it's right. We don't care. We don't care. We're gonna do what we want to do, and you don't matter. It just doesn't matter. Like, I mean, let's face it. If someone said, "All right, well, we have definitive proof of X." All right, now what? And if someone quasi government says, "No, you're insane," who's to gainsay you? Most people are not ready to really believe anything outside of what the television and the newspaper and the media tell them. They're really not. Like, there was that that all that bullshit surrounding aliens during remember when Trump was like, "Oh, we got some information about that and you're going to be surprised." Remember that all that media fuss about Trump and his presidency and the Area 51, and that just it was swept under the rug. It was disappeared. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody fucking cares. Nobody's ready to hear that shit.
Yeah, there's a lot.
According to some of the stuff that I've read, there's like hundreds of people that have been pushed forward or backward into time and been abandoned.
Yeah.
Either inadvertently or by design. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the fact that, I mean, for example, the fact that they won't declassify anything about JFK's assassination,
Well, of course not. He wanted to get rid of the FBI and the CIA. They're not going to declassify that shit.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of stuff. The fact that they won't declassify it after so many years is because it applies to something that's going on right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most people were just worried about going to work the next day and feeding their family and making sure they raise
Right.
their children. I get that, and that's
Right.
totally fine. But there's another world that exists that
Yeah.
on the surface we're not privy to. And if you delve into it and try to talk to other people about it, you're like, oh, you're a nut. You're a conspiracy. That's not real. Well, motherfucker, yeah, it is. It totally is. And here's some proof to whet your appetite, dickhead.
I think I think the question a lot of people have, and I'm not judging it, I just acknowledge it now, is how is this going to get me ahead in my career? How is this going to make me make more money? How is this going to keep me within the social credibility thing?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that's they don't say that, but that's their thought. And so when you bring this stuff up and they're like, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't want to have anything to do with anybody who has anything to do with it because it's not going to get me further where I want to be, and I don't want to
Well,
know anything about it.
well, no, you're absolutely correct. And not only that, it's just there's something. I'll give you a case in point. This is back. I was probably about 17 or 18, and my father had picked me up from somewhere, and were coming home in the evening. It was a fall evening, and we just so happened to be looking down the street at the same time, off into the distance, the horizon. And rising miles away was this point of light coming up from the horizon, and it split into three and just took off. And I'm like, holy fuck, Dad, did you see that? Yeah. What is that? That's like a UFO, like some kind of weird shit. Like, don't worry. He was like, it was almost insulting that I was entertaining the idea that it was anything other than a weather balloon or something scientific. Now, maybe it was. But I had never seen anything like that before outside of science fiction. A light rising up from the horizon and splitting off into three and then shooting off real fast. That's crazy to me.
Well, so that's actually I have a book on this. That's actually a scientific anomaly, and there was a battle. I can't remember which king of England it was. It was an Edward, but he was going to fight a battle, and the sun split into three because of that anomaly, and his troops were all freaking out. And he goes, "No, no, no! That represents the Trinity. We're going to win this battle." And he ended up winning the battle. So his crest afterwards, I think it was not the Civil War, but it was some war in England, and he ended up putting the three suns as part of his crest.
That's kind of
So
cool.
like there are fascinating scientific anomalies, and I don't deny that. But at the same time, there's stuff that, and the thing is, like, this is what I find funny. There's some things that in science we can't explain right now. That doesn't mean it's not scientific. It just means that science.
Oh no! You're absolutely right. You're absolutely
Yeah.
correct. We just
This,
can't explain
yeah.
it. Doesn't mean it's some kind of fantastical
Yeah.
like.
This is what I love about scientists who are like, oh, it's scientifically impossible.
Right
According
now.
to you,
Yeah.
now, but it may be scientifically possible. It's just beyond your purview.
Well, there's also science that's in the history books, and like we're talking about now with time travel and time warping and mind control, and which,
right?
not to go too far down the fucking rabbit hole at that, which is one of the reasons why I think there's a shit ton more school shootings right now and over the past decades. But we won't go there because a lot of you aren't ready for that shit. But yeah, there's science that's in the media and the history books, and then I'll go so far as to say real science. The stuff that we're not supposed the peasants aren't supposed to know about. So TJ and I are going to delve into that in November. And we'll either be live broadcasting from the location or a jail cell. So we'll see.
Or both.
Or both. I mean, you never know. Kind of cool. Yeah. But we won't announce the date. You'll just know when it's happening. So, yeah. I got nothing.
I'm just enjoying myself here. Got my stogie.
What do you got? I got my wine. You got to leave a Series 5 or Series 2?
Series G.
Series G. Okay. This is whiskey and soda. Some leftover stuff that Mictobus got us from the last battlefield gathering.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I've had it for that long. That was back in what, May?
Wow.
April
Yeah.
May.
Yeah, man. That was a long. That was. It felt like ages ago.
Right? It wasn't that long ago though. That was a good trip.
That was a fun trip. I got my waitress photo. And,
Oh, nice. You got to come out with a hardback book, hardback coffee book.
Well, I got to bring that shirt so we get a photo when I come over to visit. We get a photo with the waitress and.
Oh, we'll get a few. I have a few places where you can definitely get some good photos.
I'll spank her.
Of course you will. That was fun. That was a good trip too, the Kansas City trip.
Oh yeah, that was a fun trip.
Quintus seemed to have a good time too. That was a cool meeting.
Yeah, I think the sad thing with a lot of guys is like we've been with the internet, we've been exposed to like what's out there, but trying to have. I was chatting about this today with a buddy. I'm like, the internet has showed us that there are people more like us in other parts of the world, and that's been a blessing and a curse because it means you try to have a relationship with them and you try to meet up with them. At the same time, they're doing their own thing in the other part of the world, whereas back in the day before the internet, you really had to learn to develop social skills enough to deal with the people that was around you in your own physical proximity. And the internet has made it possible for people to not develop those social skills. So for people like you and me, we've developed them. We know that and all that stuff. But the younger people, it's like they don't feel like they have to develop social skills with people in their own physical realm. They're like, oh, I can just go on social media and I got tons of people who are like, it's like that's all they know. Like, I mean, I'm not going to be like pure. If I ever had kids, I'm not going to be puritanical or like a dictator or authoritarian with them. I'm like, but I am going to look at like their use of the online stuff and be like, yeah, but just understand it's an illusion. Like that kid that you're hanging out with in another part of the world, it's like a pen pal. He's not going to come and hang. He's not going to help you hang drywall. He's not going to help you with your plumbing. He's not going to like come over and hang out and spend time with you when you're going through a rough time. He's just not there, and he's never met you, and you don't even know if it's a him. I mean, that's the part of that film, Ready Player One. I thought was really kind of pertinent. Is like you don't know what's real online. In the physical realm, you know what's real. There's no bullshitting. There's no like, oh, well, it could be a dude from Detroit who lives in his mom's basement. His name is Chuck. Like you know if that dude is 100 pounds or 100,000 pounds, like or a guy, like that stuff, but you don't know that stuff with online. I mean, we know that because we show our faces, but a lot of people don't do that.
No, it's true. It's like that saying, there are no women on the internet.
There are.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you see them and interact with them, which we have,
you could tell that they're women.
Well, there's a lot of fucking accounts out there with no photo, just like an icon or a name, and like men and women have a distinctive
way of talking,
and you can tell, like, this is a fucking dude LARPing as a woman. It's just like, I mean, could it be some autistic, like, nerdy chick with glasses and like a bow tie and shit?
She's ugly.
Like librarian, and she's fat and shit. Absolutely. But chances are it's a fucking dude LARPing as a woman.
As much as I make fun of Aaron Clary, I'm going to say he did a video. We're talking like...
Who?
I'm giving him credit. I give him guff. I got to give him credit. He did a video that was one of the best I've ever listened to because I downloaded it, and he was describing how like with women, it's the same thing as D&D. You know, they're really good at something, they suck at something else. They got a lot of strength in this area. They're like, or if they're not that, they're okay here. They're gonna be okay there. So it's like with the women's East. If this girl is like very good at certain things, as he put it, like if she's attractive and she's successful, guarantee you she's crazy. If she,
Oh yeah.
if she's successful and she's kind, guarantee you she's ugly.
Well,
Or like,
I wouldn't say guarantee. There's a high probability. There's always
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like being blind or having a defect. Like the other senses kind of pick up and take the slack and are augmented.
Yeah, like there's something like it's kind of like you know, you meet a girl who's really friendly, she's very accessible, and you know, all that stuff. Like, I'm not saying she's ugly, but she's probably not a 9. She's probably a gentleman's 7, which is fine. But like, just understand that that's what you gain. If she's really good at some things, she's gonna suck at. She's really gonna suck at something else.
Well, speaking of sucking, it's like a fat chick that like she's real good at sucking dick. She gives great head. That's a real phenomenon. We, as any bachelor knows this. And Red Crusader, yes, we have met you. I've met you. I've been in your presence twice. You're a good lad. You're cool to hang out with. Yeah. And you too, Amos, you fucking bastard. Bacon as well, you spurg.
I guess the thing with like, if there's some gal who's on Twitter and she knows all the right things to say, she's either, I'll let you fill in, but like, one, if she's not showing her face, there's a reason.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's very rare, but yeah, you'll find every once in a while because I've known they've been in my world. There are quite a few women that just don't have my stable. They don't have a social media presence, and if they do, it's very it's low key and mitigated. And I make sure of that myself. But yeah, if a woman is not showing, because as Raul says and many other people, attention is the coin of the realm in girl world, and women want attention from other women, but predominantly men. So having said that, if a woman fundamentally wants attention, but she's getting attention online, but does not show her body or her face, she's one of two things, and one takes precedence and is in more probability over the other. So the lower probability is, oh, she's humble, she's kind of okay, but she has low self-esteem as regarding to her looks. That's a possibility. More often than not, what's highly probable and possible is she's fat as fuck. That is usually what happens. You don't have to believe me. Go out into the world and test this. So. Damn, Amos, what the fuck?
Oh, I will cook you guys waffles.
TJ, all right. I'll give Amos some credit here. In all the times we've met, TJ, and we've hung out, you've never made any of us waffles.
Okay. We're gonna change that. I will literally bring my waffle maker, and I will make you waffles.
No, send the waffle maker.
No. I'm gonna bring out. It's not big. It's like this big.
I'm just checking. I don't know how big the fucking thing is. It single, like a single waffle?
Have you ever made waffles?
I've made waffles. They're usually the waffle maker that I've seen is usually like about this, and I wouldn't pack that in an overnight bag to take to travels. I just wouldn't do it. Like, could you imagine TSA setting off the fucking metal detector and you got a fucking waffle maker in your carry-on?
What? It's tiny. My waffle maker. Okay. You know what? How about you just step aside. You step aside.
All right. All right.
Amateur hour is over. The
All right.
pros are taking over.
Cheers. You bring your waffle maker, TJ, and you go make me waffles.
Waffles? I'll make you a
Waffles. Waffles. All right. And if Mowgli likes the waffles, then you're in. You're good. You're hired.
You know what I'll do? I will make waffles for you and one of the women in your stable.
All right. I'll bring them over.
And then she can taste test and she can judge.
She'll judge your whether or not you get to wear the maid outfit.
She's gonna wear the maid outfit whether I'm cooking or not.
That's true.
And then I can tell her, be like, "Woman, give me the flour. Woman, give me the egg."
Is this a Monty Python bit? Hand me the waffles now. Your mother was a hamster. We are the knights who say "Nee."
Let's not argue and bicker about who killed who.
Look at the bones. You silly! It is the Robert. You silly salt! You almost made me soil me armor.
I sold my arm off. I was so scared.
That's right. Run away!
What's he do? Nibble your
What's he do? Nibble your bum? If you haven't seen Monty Python, the Holy Grail, you're here
gay
to
or you're Aaron Clary.
Or both. Which, if your name is Aaron Clary, you are gay. So it's $20 is $20. Yes.
He's got huge tracts of land. I know, but the girl I wanted to have it. No! Stop! Not this song while I'm here.
That's right. RJ, you mean TJ, making the waffles, Verb making his. Well,
Yeah.
Rob also made a really. Rob, tell you, when Jack was down for the MG Wolfpack in last month, Rob makes really good scrambled eggs and bacon. So, just saying, we had breakfast for dinner, and we're continuing our day drunk. So it's nice. But Rob's mac and cheese, I'm going to be honest with you, and I've said this to his face, so I'm not talking behind his back. It's like, he puts a secret ingredient in it. He puts a secret ingredient in it that I'm not crazy about. It's a condiment. That's I can take it or leave it. What are you doing there? Touching yourself?
No, I was grabbing some more food.
Oh, what are you eating?
Crackers.
Crackers, eh? Nice. I've got some homemade almond cookies that are fucking delicious.
Well, I'm gonna have chili later, but I'm waiting. I made homemade chili. Made my own chili.
My mom had a good homemade chili I'll make for us when we come out here. Get that in the crock pot. We'll have that for lunches and shit.
Yeah, we'll save some of it in case we go to jail.
We'll bring that with the camp stove and just like a quick meal before you get locked up. Oh, fuck. So the plan is to bring out some night goggles and a Geiger counter as well. And a few other EMF detectors and shit. So it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be good. And, yeah. Like I said, we're not gonna announce it beforehand. We're not gonna alert anybody, but it'll go when it goes live. It goes live. It'll be sometime in October or November. We're not telling you when. So there you go. Yeah, it'll be a good time. A real fucking MG adventure. That's right. Oh shit. Is there anything new with you, TJ?
Just doing home improvement projects. That's about it.
What are you working on currently?
I dug a French drain. For those of you who don't know,
that's right. Yeah,
I was doing a French drain, and I finally finished it today, which is ironic because it poured down rain for the first time in probably weeks. What do I think of it? I'm trying not to.
I look at it this way. Judging from the trailer that I've seen and all the negative hype surrounding it, and the fact that they waited until Christopher Tolkien died to do this shit.
Yeah.
And add all this stuff that had nothing to do with Tolkien's world whatsoever. I have no desire to give them my money or my time or my attention. There are no black dwarves. Okay? I also guarantee that any female dwarves have no real position of power. Also, Aragorn is not black. He's white. If you have a problem with that, I don't care. Tolkien is spinning in his grave right now. So, the Lord of the Rings, it's not even Lord of the Rings. That prime abortion will remain forever a piece of shit to me.
I find it ironic that Tolkien was so put off by Disney that he refused to have Disney.
Oh, he hated Disney.
He hated Disney.
He hated Disney films.
The thing is, like, if Disney, if let me put it this way, if Tolkien had given Disney the rights to make a Lord of the Rings, he would have done a better job than what's happening right now. Because they're singing in like poetry in the Lord of the Rings, like there's songs that are in there you don't see in the films that Disney would have absolutely put in his versions. But like my whole thought is like Disney would have showed more respect to Tolkien than what he's getting right now. That's my thought. It's like, and I get why Tolkien, I don't agree, but I understand why he was not happy with Disney. But at the same time, it's like I don't think he understood what Disney was trying to do, and Tolkien was. But the thing is, like, the irony is, like, his intellectual property has been seized by people infinitely worse than what Walt Disney would have done. If Walt Disney would have let's say Tolkien was going to do a film with Walt Disney and said, like, look, you bought the rights to my books as films. Like, here's all these concerns I have or these things. Disney would have at least taken it seriously, as opposed to people where they're definitely trying to like deconstruct what he's doing. Yeah. Disney may not have done it in a way that, like, the same thing with Mary Poppins, where the author had disagreements on that kind of stuff and all this stuff. And I get why some people don't like Disney's the way his approach to things. At the same time, it's like you're looking at it from a totally different perspective on the same topic. For Tolkien, the fairy tales were almost like religious.
Well, they're taking something that was from his time period, his intellectual property, and I'm very. It's disconcerting that his family, the estate, has allowed Amazon Prime. Like, did they not look at the script? I can only imagine what Peter Jackson thought of all that, because I know they approached him before, and he probably said, "You know what? I don't want to be I don't want to any part of this piece of shit."
Yeah,
because they're completely taking his
Jeff
lore and canon.
Even just Jeff Bezos' son messaged him and said, "Don't F this up." And Jeff Bezos was telling them, "Hey guys, here's all these things that we should be doing." They totally blew him off. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to use there's so many words I want to use. I'm not going to use them because I don't want your channel to get banned. Like, Jeff Bezos, you are one of the richest men in the world. If you say something to somebody in the company you built and they ignore you, you're a bitch.
You fucking fire their ass.
Giant bitch. There's no other word. There are words. I just can't use them on YouTube. But, like, I'm sorry. You have billions of dollars.
They're a bunch of cunts.
Yes. I'll let you do it.
They're a huge cavalcade of cuntery on the LOTR Prime abortion writing team.
It's just yeah. And so the lesson, like, with a lot, I mean, even Disney, he should have shut down his studio, or at least had it prepared to. When you build something, know that someone else is going to come and, like, dig up your corpse.
Well, that's why. Well, that's why you. I get you want to make money. You need funding. if you're in that position, retain control of your IP.
Yeah.
Retain control of your intellectual property. I know there's some things you're like, I just want to write and create. You business people figure it out and I'll give you license. Don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
Hold on to your property. Make sure you have creative control over everything that happens. I know, like, a lot of people, I know them personally. Matthew Quick, who wrote the Silver Linings Playbook, and the movie came out. I was dating a woman that went to high school with him, and he and his wife became friends with her again, and consequently, I became friends with them. So I even got signed books by Matthew Quick, and we were friends for a while. But he sold the rights to Silver Linings Playbook for. I'm like, what? The problem is, it's like when you're young, it's your first book. You're like, this is something. It's some money. It's something. It's my foot in the door. And then they take your intellectual property. Okay, if someone buys the rights to your book as an option for a movie, chances are, unless you're included somehow in that contract for creative control, you don't have dick one to say about anything that they do. You don't. So they take your work and they abort it. Not to say I'm this great fucking writer. I'm not. But my stuff's entertaining. My Tesla Malone series, I think, would make a good TV show or movie. I ain't selling it.
It's the same thing with like if somebody wanted to
like Men Who Walk Alone.
Yeah. Well,
or the Iridian.
Or this.
Exactly.
Somebody said, "Hey, we want to make a movie." I'm like, "That's nice."
You get this. You are the final arbiter.
Well,
of what comes out of that creatively.
Well, with that book, I'll give you the rights, but I have final approval over the script, and also I get a cut of the box office.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, guys, no non-negotiable. I wrote a good script. All you dipshits out there with your woke politics.
Well, not only that, but you need to retain creative control of anything moving forward.
Yeah, there's some bullshit in the script. I'm like, yeah, that's going. It's not going to be in the film. I'm not non-negotiable. Sorry, guys, I'm a storyteller. This is my story. These are my characters. It's not up for a negotiation. If you don't like it, well, you can go kiss the hundreds of millions of dollars you'd make off of it. Goodbye. Like, nice talking to you. Like, because I'm not going to see that money.
Correct.
So, you know.
Yeah, the amount of money that he told me he made, I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah.
And in the back of my head, I'm thinking about, part of me said, you're a dumbass. But a part of me said, all right, well, this is your foot in the door. Because I know a lot of his other books were optioned. Now, when a production company or whatever, Hollywood, options your work, doesn't mean it's going to get made. They just have they buy the rights to use it in a certain amount of time frame / perpetuity.
Yeah.
So if they buy the rights to, say, the Iridian in perpetuity, they can sit on it. They have the rights to it. Doesn't mean they're going to do anything with it. They have it. So if another company came to you and said, hey, look, TJ, we've got a script for the Iridian, and you read it and you go, holy fuck, this is great. And they're going to give you creative control. You can't do dick. That movie cannot be made because this other company has the rights to it. So retain all any writers out there, script writers, doesn't matter. Retain that shit. I get it. I suppose if you're in poverty and living on the street, then maybe you might reconsider that. But fuck, hold out as long as you can. Retain your control over your shit. And Red Crusader is right. Make sure your intellectual property. Like when I kick off this Mortal Coil, TJ gets all the rights to my shit. He gets all my intellectual property. So I have a legacy, and he
No
can continue
legacy.
my legacy. He can continue that for me after I'm fucking gone. Now, of course, if TJ kicks out the bucket first, I have to redo my fucking will and shit.
That's why I have to be careful with my
Jesus
motorcycle riding.
Christ! Yeah, don't kill yourself, you son of a bitch. I take care of my intellectual property. So
I'll remember that.
keep yourself safe. See. Then again, if we both go, then fuck it. I guess it goes. The government gets it. But yeah, I don't have a plan C. I should probably have a plan C.
Give it to Jack. He's young and spry. Or Aaron will probably outlast us. He'll be 20, still having cancer.
I know, right? Fucking gay hand. Bacon. Bacon. Nobody is actually retaining their semen. That's all fake. That's all fake bullshit. They're jerking off into socks. They are. It's crap. It's crap. No red-blooded American male is going to retain his semen. It's all crap. They're going to tell you that because they want to sell you something, but they're not retaining their semen. They're either fucking somebody, or they're jacking off into a sock. Sock jackers. These sock jackers. That's TJ's next short story, Sock Jacker.
That was something Rob would write, actually.
Right? Absolutely. Oh, and that's another thing too. I'm gonna tease you guys. There's going to be an anthology, and I'm sort of I'll say I'm teasing you with this because it has some accountability for us. Because if we talk about it, we have to do it. Not that I wouldn't do it anyway, because if I say something, it's going to happen, as you know. Where the fuck did TJ? What the fuck? I'm going to talk about something serious, and TJ takes off. Probably has to go take a piss. Anyway, there's going to be some really cool, I'll use the term loosely, red pill pulp fiction coming out of the Masculine Geek factory, as it were, and not too long from now, with a few other TJ and myself and a few other authors, probably 5 or 6 of us, coming out with like a short story compendium, which will include sci-fi, fantasy, and/or horror. So my plan is, because it was my idea, and I'm sort of project managing that shit, I would assume I'm going to push for the first of the year. So I'll also have 2 novellas coming out the first of the year as well. The long-awaited Tesla Malone Book 2, which I have to light a fire under my book cover designer's ass, because it's been a year, over a year since I've paid him his 50%. He's given me drafts and they're phenomenal. Just waiting for the final project, which is a huge pain in the ass. It's very difficult to find good artists. Well, I shouldn't say that. Good scheduling, timely artistic work. Because there's a lot of good work out there. It's just getting people to follow a time frame. Part of it's my own fault for not setting more boundaries. He's a friend. He does good work. He had some personal setbacks, and he and his wife have another child to deal with, so it's always in the way, on top of his other projects. So I allow for that, but enough is enough. I need this fucking book cover done. And then I will, for the pulp detective adventure story, Laserdix, that I'm going to go with a sort of a Robert E. McGinnis cover, reminiscent of the old James Bond covers, movie poster covers from the 50s and 60s. And that will feature both TJ, Rob, and myself as the characters on the cover of that motherfucker, with a lot of women. So that'll be good. Not unlike the background that you see now. It's a Robert E. McGinnis cover from a book titled Brooks Ltd. Brooks Wilson Ltd. I like it. It's one of my favorites of Robert E. McGinnis. Anyway, so those will be coming out. So look for a bunch of literary work from Masculine Geek and Sundry in the upcoming year, and a few other projects. Those who know, know. So, yeah. So there will be a live stream, Masculine, sort of live, or at least recording of a military base / lab adventure upcoming in the fall that may or may not end in disaster. We'll see. And then, barring any difficulties arising from that, there'll be some projects and literary works coming out in 2023. Oh shit, it's going right to my head. Anyway, all right, we're at the hour mark. We'll do like have a couple people in the chat, any kind of question and answer kind of thing. They seem to be popular. Anyone's any questions for us, feel free to continue. I know you've been in the chat asking questions and making comments, which we appreciate. Feel free to continue to do so. God damn it. I'm dying over here. Hit the like button, you fuckers. Oh. Oh. So what's on your agenda for the Labor Day holiday for yourself, DJ?
Well, I'm kind of tempted to get up early in the morning and go on a hike, but go back to Leavenworth because everybody else is going to be coming back the opposite way. So
okay.
I'm just wondering if I want to do that, but you know, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'm indecisive at this moment. I could also, if it rains like this right now, it's raining. I'm probably just going to work on more work store. It's kind of like the work for what we're doing.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to start that this week as well. I have an idea.
Yeah.
Sort of a inspiration off of Laserdiscs. So.
when is Laserdiscs coming out?
Yeah, Laserdiscs. That is, I'm almost done chapter 10, the final boss scene, and I'm setting up. All right, so I talked to Nick August about this. So after this first novella finishes, which will be done probably next week or two, that's my goal. I have to look for the book cover for the good designer for that. Months ago, I sat down and wrote a couple hundred words into the first chapter of the second novella, the second series. And that centers around you, TJ, you and I and Rob on a vacation where we've run into some shit on a cruise. That has to do with a weird island and some monsters and some shit. So, yeah. And some military intervention, and yeah, really cool. So that's the second one. But the first one is almost finished. It's almost done. So look forward to unleashing that. It was published serially in Punch Riot magazine, and then that its current incarnation of Punch Riot that's defunct, and I know Nick August is working on a new version, which I may release the final chapter 10 there first. We'll see. Because chapter 10 is extensive. I'm already well past the 2,000 word mark on it. And Up till now, each chapter has been about 18 to 2,200 words a piece. So you're looking at I think probably around a 25,000 word long novella. And that's where I like to keep it at, about 25,000 words. So look for Laser Dicks to be complete within the next couple weeks. Myself working in the background to find a book cover designer, and then getting it final edits and layout and design done. And that will also, I'll probably just have that scheduled for at least the first of the year, or at the very earliest December. So if you haven't read it through Punch Riot, I feel sorry for you, because it was a great romp. It was good fun. TJ enjoyed it. He had to. He was in it. So Rob and I and TJ are characters in the story. We are detectives. You Amos, you are not in the first book. You are in the second book. I'm not telling you anymore. That's all the tease you get. Because I know Red Crusader's in it, Bullrush is in it, Nick is in it, Aaron is Aaron is in it briefly. He's got a mention. He owns the gay nightclub, the Manosphere. That fruit, Aaron Clary. But a lot of people that I know in our circle of friends have made it into Laser Dicks. Now, the name behind Laser Dicks is quite simple. We were talking about analog versus digital. You did hurt your nipple, and hurting your nipple will probably show up in the second book now that you're mentioning it. But Laser Dicks came about through a Freudian slip of the tongue. We were talking about analog and digital devices from the 80s and 90s, and we were discussing laser discs. And rather than say laser disc, I slipped up and said laser dick. And we got a good laugh about that. And there were gay jokes and stuff. And then I thought, wow, laser dick. That'd be a good detective story, because dick was slang for detective. Like, you know what? I'm going to write that story. Not only did I write that story, but I included TJ and Rob and myself as the main characters. So we own, it's called The Lair. We own, and it's struggling. We're horribly in the black, and we're poor. We're struggling. We own a barbershop / bar in a city with above ground and below ground sort of Batman-like sections of the location. And there are lasers and laser guns and hover cars and hover cycles set in a 1950s setting. So all that cool stuff that people were talking about in the 1950s and 60s, like, oh, in the future we'll have hover cars and laser guns. Well, in the 50s, they have them. So you have TJ typing away on his typewriter while Rob is, powering up his laser rifle. So there you go. And we're getting ready to go into. There's a hover car chase, and there's shootouts with some creatures and stuff, and there's a really cool guy named Butch that we come across in a sort of speakeasy jazz club, and Rob gets his ass kicked, and I sort of get knocked out, and TJ gets knocked out, and we get into shenanigans afterwards. So it's kind of cool. No, Aaron's not a rum run. I'm not going to give him that much credit. You may see different incarnations of Aaron, but for the most part, he's a gay nightclub owner. I mean, come on, what else could he be? I mean, he could still run rum as a gay nightclub owner. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're just fucking gay. So he's putting from the rough. That's right. But it's a good story. If you have not signed up for Punch Riot, then you're shit out of luck because I don't think Nick has released those to the general public as an archive. He might. I don't know. So, yeah. All right. Any other questions from the chat while we're sitting here enjoying our drinks?
I'm not saying much.
Aw. Ooh. That's a good shot. Still waiting for the radio show of that to be done by the Lennon Burn Crew. What radio show? Laser Dicks? Is that what you're talking about? I have no problem if Nick wants to set that off, Laser Dicks off as a radio show. That'd be kind of cool. I think the name lends itself well to radio programming in the nature of it. Of course, Rob and TJ and I would have to play ourselves. And then we'd have to have you, Red Crusader, to come in to play yourself. Because, as you know, you're one of the irregulars. I know they did I know they did a parody because I was one of the ones in the show. You son of a bitch. I was there. Yeah, it was fun. Took a few takes to get it done, but it was a lot of fun. All right, we got too much dead air going here.
All right.
Going once. Going twice. Any more questions? Throw them in there. Because it's getting late on the East Coast, the best coast. It's almost 11:24. And I have a barbecue to attend tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah. All right, everyone. For the few people that have joined us, thank you for doing so. Appreciate you as always, everyone in the chat. Dead air, dead air, dead air. Yes. Sometimes dead air is good, but towards the tail end of a show, it's not so good. So we're going to sign off. So it's been an interesting Sunday Rogue broadcast. TJ, as usual.
All right, guys.
Take us out.
Keep the lights down, rain. Keep the fires burning. Keep the wine flowing. Don't take anyone nickels, and don't drink all the rum.